Drivers, start your engines!
It's MRN Motorsports Monday, the place for the latest news and loudest opinions, direct from the guys at the track. Presented by Outback Steakhouse. The stories, views, and opinions expressed on MRN Motorsports Monday are not likely shared by anyone, anywhere. Results may vary, so you should talk to your doctor before watching.
Me. What's up, Doc?
Today's episode is brought to you by Hercules Tire.
Pace car is on.
Here's Woody Kane.
Oh, boy, am I glad to see you guys!
I knew you'd come back, Woody.
And Joey Meyer.
Just a reminder, if you're asking me a question on the radio, just keep talking till I answer it for you, all right?
Welcome to MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse, reviewing the incidents and the surprising victory, another first-time winner at Road America in Wisconsin, and looking ahead to Throwback Weekend in Darlington. I'm Woody Kane, joined by Joey Meyer, two-spotter as always. And don't forget, head into Outback Steakhouse. No free bloomin' onion, but they do have this great new deal, the center-cut sirloin with a steamed lobster tail. $15.99.
That's a really good deal. A little disappointed weekend for Kevin Harvick. He didn't finish inside the top 10 at all.
What's up with that guy?
Yeah, it was almost like he didn't even show up this weekend.
It's almost like that, for sure. But Jeremy Clements did show up at Road America, and it's always cool to see a first-time winner, and especially a guy who's tried over 250 times to get one before he did.
You know, Road America is one of those places that's a very precise course, very intricate course. You got to have the top, best equipment. The most experienced drivers always go to Road America. So you show up there with the Elliott Sadlers, the Justin Allgaiers, the Justin Marks, the Brendan Gaughan. You're just going to pick one of those to win, right? And that's what happened. No.
Not so much.
Not so much. We had top 3 finishers, had never had more than 10 total top 5s. Total. 476 races they've entered. They only had less than 12 top 5s. No wins among the top 3. And we see really good, and this is one of those races that you get chills talking about because it wasn't a fluke, it wasn't a rain shower, it wasn't that those guys blew up. All 3 of those top 3 finishes, all 3 of them ran really good races, had great strategy, had good cars, and they were able to produce top 3 results with Clemens, Michael Annett, and who was finished
Matt Tifft.
third there? And Matt
Our
Tifft.
guest from last week.
Exactly right, who should have won. He had a very good opportunity.
He had the endorsement of the show after being on air with us.
So it was amazing to watch and see how the youth of the sport really rose to the top.
Excuse me, did you say youth?
Youth.
Okay.
Two youths. Exactly. But you had Jeremy Clemens and Michael Annett and Matt Tifft, all young. 3 of them. It was really cool to watch. Of course, the Cinderella story, if there ever is one, is Jeremy Clemens with a car that was initially constructed back in 2008. Of course, it was upgraded to make NASCAR sanctioning for 2017. Family owned and operated. His dad's a crew chief. Here they are just grinding it out, and he drove to the front and got by Matt Tifft and was able to bring home a victory.
He did, and it was a dramatic finish, and afterward, Clement spoke with our Jason Toy in Victory Lane in Wisconsin.
I don't even feel like it's real, honestly. It's just a shock. I mean, we had a pretty good car, and when we led all those laps, I was like, wow, I don't really know the strategy here, but I'm going to go with it. So that's my crew chief, Danny Gill, and Tony, my dad. They come up with all that, so hats off to them. But we're a small team. This car was built in 2008, and it's the one we've run like the past 4 years. So it's pretty neat to beat this field with about a 10-year-old car.
Take us through that final couple of laps when running there with Matt Tifft and the contact there in turn 14.
Yeah, I was definitely in an accident. I got in there and got loose up under him, tried to stay off of him, and got into him. And it definitely was not intentional. Had no intent to do that, so I'm sorry to Matt Tifft.
There you go. That's the way it sounded from Victory Lane, and the dramatic moment came with 2 laps to go. Jeremy Clements had newer tires and was charging. Matt Tifft had enough fuel but had a little bit older tires and was trying to play defense. So Clements dives inside of him in turn 14. They make contact. Both of them spin off into the grass. Tifft had at least 2 wheels in the pea gravel, and usually when you get in that, it's like quicksand and you can't get back out. But they both did and got going again before third place could catch them. Ultimately, that was Michael Annett, and he moved into second place, but it was Jeremy Clements' race in the end.
I'm not sure if there's any Jeremy Clements haters, but those who are Matt Tifft fans may feel like Jeremy did him wrong. And realistically, Clemens was going to spin out regardless of whether Tifft was there.
He was committed.
Exactly right. And Tifft wants him committed as well. So
he was classy afterwards when they communicated on social media, and it was classy.
But that is a specific example of a racing incident. Two guys charging. The one guy who's going inside, which is Clemens, really gets loose, and he's going to spin out because he is committed to his corner entry. Tiff's doing everything he can, knows he's got older tires, is trying to take up as much track as he can without just holding his arms out wide.
Yeah.
And those guys get together. Both of them do 360s. They grab gears, get going. Michael Annette's foaming at the mouth because he sees victory sitting right in front of him, is able to bring that car home second, which is a great job for those guys. We wanted to give a shout out to Adam Wright, Pete Wright, and his family.
Yeah.
A devastating loss to a junior motorsports car chief on the 5-car. So it was fantastic for them to see those guys bring home a second-place finish in honor of Adam Wright and Jeremy Clemens, of course, sitting in victory lane.
All right, big show coming up for you on Motorsports Monday. We'll talk with Daniel Hemric, who won Stage 2 at Road America. We'll have our Ask Joey segment again, a question for him, and we'll take a look ahead at the Throwback Weekend coming up at Darlington. It's all ahead on Motorsports Monday. Stay with us.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice. And I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
Today Toyota's featured NASCAR fan is Dr. Tom Pierce.
So, Dr. Tom, what's your claim to fame?
Well, due to all of Toyota's NASCAR wins last year, I wrote thousands of doctor's notes for fans for overexcitement hypertension, a condition that requires a day off work to rest.
Sounds like a responsible doctor.
Doctor? I'm not a real doctor, bro. Would a doctor get a guy off work for overexcitement about the new Camry? Because I did.
Let's go NASCAR fans.
Toyota, let's go places. To learn more, visit toyotaracing.com. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Now Clements will go to the inside again, locks up the wheels and slides. Now the leader turns around. They're both off into the pea gravel. Here they come now trying to get back onto the track. Clements hasn't fired. Tift hasn't fired. Jeremy Clements to the lead as they go up the hill.
He has righted the ship. The Credit One Bank, 1 to go. Jeremy Clements, the leader in turn 1.
They're losing their minds in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Jeremy Clements comes to the checkered flag. He'll win the Johnsonville 180.
That's the way it sounded in Road America, a feel-good story, a first-time winner, third one of the season, and it's on par, I would say, with Ryan Preece's win earlier in Iowa this season.
Man, that turn 14 corner announcer was fantastic. He was so deliberate.
He was losing his mind. That's what he was doing.
Yeah, Woody Kane being our turn 4
I can't believe they wrecked right in front of me, and then I can't believe they both got going again. I thought one of them at least was going to be stuck in the pea gravel and be done.
Yeah, that was what was the penultimate lap coming to the white, I believe, and you just couldn't believe that both the leaders, when's the last time we've seen first and second spin out, sitting there dead stopped, trying to get their cars running, flames shooting out both pipes as they're trying to grab a gear. And again, Michael Annette's chugging along trying to get back up there and is able to come home second, but fantastic job by all three drivers to be able to get home top 3.
Yeah, it was really a cool race to watch and a lot of fun. Always love some good road course racing, and that brings us to On Track, Off Track, where we talk about some things that are going well and some things that may not be going quite so well in the world of racing. Let's start on the positive side. For you, what's on track?
You know, for years we go to tracks and we hear about Cup drivers and Xfinity road courses and the Kyle Busch haters and the Brad Keselowski haters, and we got to get our Cup guys out. Well, Road America is one of those races that not only do we not have any Cup guys even remotely in the state, but we take
many of them fled the country.
Physically out of the country. But we see drivers like a Jeremy Clemens able to take raw skill and talent and showcase. 2-3 weeks ago, we saw Andy Lally in a Bobby Dotter car, the 07. Everybody's like, the 07? He's running top 5. Well, now we see the 51 was up front leading laps, able to charge back through. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we saw Ryan Preece get a good victory in Iowa. Those feel-good stories is what the Xfinity Series is about. I understand the business model requires Cup guys to be active for sponsorship material
Mhm.
because Jeremy Clemens doesn't have that raw data or raw material to get a big-time sponsor. He had repairedvehicles.com on his car on the Chevrolet this weekend. But you saw the excitement and the experience and the ability of that young team to be able to drag that car past a juggernaut of Gibbs Racing. So kudos to Jeremy Clemens. It's a true Cinderella story, and it's just a happy day down in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Absolutely it is. And for me, on track is road racing and good road racing. And you and I have had this conversation before. Not just any road course will do, but Road America, a 4-mile track, uphill, downhill, all kinds of places to make moves. It's very technical track, meaning you have to have a wide range of skills to get around that track. A lot of strategy elements played out, and I just love the road racing now. I think although if we had a bunch more, they might not be so special, the ones that we do have, but man, it sure is fun when it comes off well like it did this weekend.
Yeah, without a doubt, my two favorite road courses are Watkins Glen and Road America. And the only critical thing I can say about Road America is that's over 4 miles long.
A caution lap takes forever.
Exactly
there.
right. It's the only drawback, and again, I'm being very critical, of course, but listening to the MRN broadcast yesterday, I think we had 65 announcers as we went around the track.
It was only 64.
Okay, but it was a long
Yeah.
time to get around
Yeah.
there. And this guy's going into turn 1 and turn 2, and like you say, you were over in 13 and 14. You're like, man, does this place ever end? But
Yeah.
it's a fantastic facility, multiple places to pass, not only under braking, not only under acceleration, but when you're on the gas and who has a better car. So there's a multitude of places to pass at Road America, and we saw really good racing because of it.
Absolutely. All right, now let's look at the other side of the equation, off track. What's not going quite so well in Joey's world?
You know, back in 1948, Bill France Sr. over on Daytona Beach formed the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing. It's the conglomerate known as NASCAR. Few people even call it anything else than NASCAR. But when we use it as a company name, it makes perfect sense. NASCAR's in town. NASCAR's not out of town. We have Monster Energy. We have Xfinity. NASCAR is the organization.
It's a catch-all, yeah.
Exactly right. It doesn't describe the cars. We didn't ride in a NASCAR this weekend. We didn't say, are the NASCARs in town this weekend?
Some people do.
Yes. Stop saying it. NASCAR doesn't describe the vehicle. It describes the organization and the racing associated with it. If you're wanting to talk about cars, talk about cars. We rode in a NASCAR-style Sprint Cup or a NASCAR-style Monster Energy or a NASCAR Busch car back in the day. Now it's the Xfinity or a truck. It's a NASCAR-style vehicle. It's not a NASCAR.
The NASCARs. Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. That one cracks me up too, because you never hear people say when the NFL is in a particular town, they don't say, well, the footballs are here or the NFLs are here. You know, it's a different animal.
Yes, I didn't go out and toss the NFL around.
No, you didn't.
Nope, sure didn't.
Nope, and that's.
So stop saying the NASCARs, please, please.
All right, now it's time for America's favorite game show, where Joey Meyer takes questions from fans. Ask Joey, and this week we've got David with a question for Joey.
Hey Joey, how you doing? My name is David. Question for you: how do you stay engaged and focused when you're on the racetrack?
All right, David wants to know how you keep your focus, how you keep your mind from wandering and looking at other shiny things while the race is going on. It's a long day up on top of the roof and can be 6-7 hours easily.
You know, easily this weekend was a long race, but really only ran 100 laps. But most of our Monster Energy races are well in the 500-mile range or 500-lap ranges we had at Bristol. One of the things that helps me is working alongside Paul Wolf. He allows me to stay engaged during the race. And by being engaged, I'm doing a lot of talking with lap times, doing a lot of talking about what other drivers are doing, where we're getting beat or where we're beating other drivers. I'm simply not upstairs on the roof watching the race, waiting for an activity or a wreck or something to happen. But by being involved and active every lap, pretty soon you go 1 lap to 10, 10 to 100, 100 to 500, and you're done already.
Yeah.
I tell this story to tell you how easily it is to stay engaged. Before a race, I found myself, man, I need to go use the restroom. And I forget. I can get all the way done with a 4-hour race and have never used the restroom because my mind has been so actively involved. So that's how I do it. Great question, David, because we're not just sitting up on the roof, just watching cars go around in circles.
Now, let me ask you this as an aside to that. Your driver, Brad Keselowski, wants a lot of information.
Yes.
Other drivers don't want so much information. For a spotter whose driver doesn't want as much information, is it tougher to stay engaged as you just described?
You know, back in the day at Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, I spotted for Michael Waltrip, and what I found myself doing was listening to the MRN broadcast, watching the other portions of the race. So it was still my way of staying active, involved in the race, even though my current driver back in the day with Michael Waltrip didn't require a lot of information. So it was definitely a different effort or a different side street that I took to stay active and aware and what was going on by being able to listen to the MRN broadcast.
All right, you can send us your question for Ask Joey. You can use the address on your screen there, and we'll get your question up and in the queue as soon as we can, and Joey will answer them as best he can in the way that only he can. Another break coming up right now on MRN Motorsports Monday. On the other side, Daniel Hemric joins us. He won Stage 2 at Road America, and there's only a couple of races left before the Xfinity Series playoffs begin.
I'm Steve Letarte, STP auto expert and former crew chief. I know what it takes to keep engines performing at their best. STP's latest breakthrough additive, STP Ultra 5-in-1 plus Fuel System Cleaner plus Fuel Stabilizer, delivers 3 times the amount of cleaning agents versus premium gasoline and helps keep fuel fresh during storage. For over 60 years, STP has been on the cutting edge developing products to help engines run better, longer.
One bottle contains 3 times by weight the amount of cleaning agents compared to 20 gallons of the leading premium gasoline.
It's almost the most refreshing time of the day, Busch O'Clock, a time for relaxing and unwinding with friends and family over a crisp, cold Busch beer. Busch's roots are in racing, but whether you're enjoying the race or going fishing, nothing is better when it's time to relax than a crisp, cold Busch. It's Busch O'Clock, so grab a 6-pack of Busch beer for the cooler, start the grill, and relax. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Busch Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
I'm Daniel Hemric, and you're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with my man, Joey Meyer and Woody Kane.
Welcome back to MRN Motorsports Monday, taking a look back at the action at Road America on Sunday and looking ahead to the throwback weekend coming up at Darlington Raceway. And joining us on the guest line now, the driver of the Blue Gate Bank Chevrolet at Richard Childress Racing, Daniel Hemric. He won Stage 2 at Road America yesterday and led 10 laps in the middle of that race. Daniel, welcome to the program.
Yeah, you guys, thanks for having me on again. And this is not a bad day for us. Didn't turn out quite like we hoped for.
Other than the speeding penalty that got you late when you were in contention there and had to make your final pit stop as guys were on different cycles, it really felt like you had another strong car at a road course and were going to be right in the thick of it at the end. Was ultimately the speeding penalty what did you in?
You know, it's hard to say. You never know exactly how it's all going to play out with different strategies. But as far as us executing our strategy, the penalty definitely is what hindered us from making the most out of our day. So you definitely never want to see that, but you talked about our road course performance and our cars, and we've had a really good stretch as far as having speed, and that's something as a driver, especially going to road courses, it's always fun to have that and have a chance to contend and be in the mix of things. So proud of that. I hate it kind of ruined our shot at having our best finish that we thought we could have had. You know, honestly, not to make excuses, but nothing as a team effort for sure, and what happened, but we changed our transmission ratios and our pit road speeding lights and all that stuff before the race, and I think we just got off, in all honesty. So, but I'm the guy driving it. I'll take the blame for it. It hindered us from what could have been a really good day, and ultimately just take it and move on.
Daniel, I'm actually going to unload some of the responsibility on your guilt that you're having, because 2 weeks ago you finished second at Mid-Ohio, and us here at Motorsports Monday were like, hey, we're going to have Daniel Hemric. We need to have him on the show. So we actually jinxed you because we thought so it's our fault.
Yeah, blame us. We'll take it.
Yeah, because we actually we wanted John after your performance at Mid-Ohio and a top second finish there. But overall, your last 3 road courses in the Xfinity Series are really an astoundment, because your road casing ability and your background doesn't come from road course racing. Where did you get so good at it?
I don't know about good at it, but I've been trying to get better at it. I appreciate it. It's something, for whatever reason, really felt comfortable doing. I know I hear a lot of guys talk about, not feeling that comfortable with the shifting and the rev matching and all that stuff. And, even looking back at the trucks, I was able to run top 5 in both the truck races we ran at Mosport for 2 different teams. And I just felt comfortable with it, and I have a lot of fun with it. My mindset going into it, it's not any different than what it is any other week, and just try to maximize and do my part. And for whatever reason, that's worked out to having solid runs and solid finishes. So just try to keep getting better at it, especially on the Xfinity side of things. You find yourself, running 3 races, not just 1 a year. You actually do get into that rhythm, and it just helps you get better every time and every lap you make. So just a testament to that, and having good race cars and good communication, and really just trying to do what we can every time we hit the racetrack, and it's made for a fun time.
Chatting with Daniel Hemric, drives the Blue Gate Bank Chevrolet at Richard Childress Racing. And as we get close to the playoffs, just I think 3 races left before the playoff field is set. You're in pretty good shape, 5th in the overall standings. If you look down the list, you're I think 7th or 8th in the playoff seating. Coming down to these last few races, are you thinking I got to protect what I've got, or I really need to get that win to make sure I'm locked in? Because points-wise, the math, it looks like you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I mean, we're in decent shape when it comes to the overall point side of it, but you never feel too comfortable in this format. But, there is still, in all honesty, a lot on the line for us as far as the last couple of weeks. Us and 2 other teams are really close in owner points as far as who could overstep who going into the playoffs, and myself and Brennan Poole have actually been going back and forth on driver points. So whoever can get ahead of who's going to have another playoff, point in their pocket, so which is huge leading into the playoffs. So still a lot up for risk, and you can't lay down. You got to keep working at it. Performances like we had yesterday, but being able to finish them off is what it's going to take to make us feel that much better as we go into the playoffs.
We do have 3 more races left for the Xfinity Series before the actual playoffs do start, and they're unique facilities. We have Darlington, we've got the short track of Richmond, and then the 1.5 mile of Chicago. Looking forward to those 3 races, which one's your biggest challenge?
I think just going there for the first time, Darlington is definitely a bit of the wild card. I know we have the body situation and stuff that will be different for our series come Richmond, but Darlington is just a tough place to get a hold of. Fortunately, in the Xfinity Series, as a rookie, you get a couple tests a year, and we found it, important to use one of our tests there. So I have made laps. I feel like we're as prepared as we can be for that wild card, but that's a place we got to go to and race the racetrack itself. I know everybody's talked about it over the years, but being on the run around there, you really see the importance of just racing the racetrack. And I feel good with our baseline of what we're going to start with there. And if we can get through Darlington, I think we can have a couple of solid weeks and position ourselves where we want to be with hopefully some momentum leading into the first playoff race.
You mentioned, Daniel, the new bodies at Richmond, the new composite bodies. They're a little bit different in terms of how they attach to the car, in terms of the weight. There'll be a little bit of a weight advantage. What do you think about that overall? I think from the owner's standpoint, they see it maybe as a cost savings eventually, but there will be some cost in changing over in the first place. But performance-wise, what are you expecting from these new bodies? Much different? Will fans notice much?
Honestly, I really don't. The fans and, from their view, you will not really be able to see any drastic change, visually. Downforce wise and whatnot in the driver's seat, I think they're going to be pretty close by the time it's all said and done, and teams are able to, massage in the areas that they're allowed to massage on. But from the fan side, it's going to look really close to what they've been seeing over the last, the last couple of months. So that's good. I know change is good, but they also don't like too much. So it's going to be good to see all that stuff kind of conform together. And, from the cost side of it, it's definitely going to save the teams, money and help their efforts on that side of things as the years go here. If that's something we really transition to full time. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they react and how they handle, the roughness of a short track and leaning on each other. And I think NASCAR's done a great job with this initiative, and hopefully it plays out the way it's supposed to, and the fans don't really notice the difference, and it just helps everybody in the end.
One of the things you're doing this year is keeping you very busy as full-time in the Xfinity Series, but you and your wife, Kenzie, have been known to run late models outside of the Xfinity Series. Do you have any plans for that in 2017 coming up?
Oh, gosh. I'd like to say I have solid plans on that side of stuff. I really, really enjoy, running the super late model stuff, and anytime I can go back to short track race, huge passion of mine, and that's obviously what got myself and many others to the spot that we're in now. So I'd like to be able to go run the Snowball Derby for sure. And I was tuned into the Oxford 250 all weekend, trying to keep up with that race. So it's just a big passion of mine. So maybe if I can get some stuff lined up, I'd like to go down and attempt to run the Snowball again.
All right, well, I need to recruit you because, like last year, you helped me.
See, he's always got an ulterior motive. He's always got something cooking.
So we have the Better Half Dash coming up, and I'll be spotting for Brad's wife, Paige, again.
Oh, Kenzie would be a ringer at that thing.
So last year was Paige's first opportunity to race in that race, and Daniel and Kenzie were both there with pointers. I was just as a spotter. But I'm gonna recruit you again to come here because we got rid of some of the competition, so Paige's chances of winning have gone up. So we need to win that race this year with your help.
Hey, I'm down to help for that. I know Kenzie and I, we had a good time last year watching Paige, and when the time comes around, I have a good picture to post of Paige in her helmet, smiling ear to ear. That was a good time.
All right.
Absolutely, it will be. Well, Daniel, look, good luck coming up this weekend at Darlington, a big race as we close in on the playoffs for the Xfinity Series, and look forward to following your progress here, and then it's going to crank up another 80 or 90 notches, I think, when we get to playoff time. But congratulations on the strong run you've had this season and where you find yourself here coming down the stretch.
Absolutely, guys. I appreciate having me on, and definitely going to be an exciting one. So we'll talk to you soon, hopefully on the good side of stuff whenever it does ramp up.
You got it.
All right, there you go. That's Daniel Hemric, the driver of the Blue Gate Bank Chevrolet at Richard Childress Racing. 5th in the overall standings. Looks like he's 8th in the playoff standings, or rather 7th in the playoff standings right now. And in pretty good shape, as he said, but you never feel too comfortable.
Yeah, Cole Custer rounds out that 8th position if the playoffs started now.
You've been waiting all day for that.
We've got about a 75-point gap between Cole Custer and Daniel Hemric. But just to explain to everybody what happened, when we take our NASCARs down pit road, all 3 of the series, we have no speedometer. So how fast do we go? We use the RPM gauge or the tachometer, and we select a gear. We say 3,200 second gear, and that's our pit road speed all the way down. Well, that works great, except for what we heard Daniel say is they changed second gear, and they didn't realize that the difference in speed for second gear would be enough to cause him. So as a driver, he was still doing what he was supposed to do. It wasn't a mistake on his part. But through the thrashing of changing gears and transmissions, that little small, minute thing sounds like it was overlooked. And that's a team thing. That's one of those things that you all rally around. You check your stuff. And that's one of the reason Daniel takes blame for it is he's supposed to check it during his pace car. As you're going around, they check your pit road speeds. And again, so as a team effort, it was slightly overlooked. Boom, it busted them down pit road speed, and that caused them a significant delay because Matt Tifft, and Austin Cindric had all set themselves up for easily a top 5 finish with all 3 of those cars.
Absolutely they did, and that was the way it went at Road America. When we come back, we're going to look ahead. Throwback weekend at Darlington, and the trucks head to Canada.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
Today Toyota's featured NASCAR fan is Dr. Tom Pierce.
So, Dr. Tom, what's your claim to fame?
Well, due to all of Toyota's NASCAR wins last year, I wrote thousands of doctor's notes for fans for overexcitement hypertension, a condition that requires a day off work to rest.
Sounds like a responsible doctor.
Doctor? I'm not a real doctor, bro. Would a doctor get a guy off work for overexcitement about the new Camry? Because I did.
Let's go NASCAR fans!
Toyota, let's go places. To learn more, visit toyotaracing.com. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
I'm Steve Letarte, STP Auto Expert and former crew chief. I know what it takes to keep engines performing at their best. STP's latest breakthrough additive, STP Ultra 5-in-1 plus Fuel System Cleaner plus Fuel Stabilizer, delivers 3 times the amount of cleaning agents versus premium gasoline and helps keep fuel fresh during storage. For over 60 years, STP has been on the cutting edge developing products to help engines run better, longer.
One bottle contains 3 times by weight the amount of cleaning agents compared to 20 gallons of the leading premium gasoline.
Hi, this is Martin Truex Jr. You're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meyer, number 2, and Woody Kane. He would always call me number 1, so I call him number 2. You want to do a real one now?
Okay, number 2. Heading to Darlington for Throwback Weekend. Bunch of cool paint schemes. The teams get involved with their uniforms. It's a really fun weekend to watch, especially for some of the nostalgia of the sport. But on the track for racing, what can we expect?
Two of our oldest tracks, Martinsville 1947, Darlington 1950. It's one of the more unique tracks that NASCAR races at because A, it's incredibly high speed. Speeds excessive of 200 miles an hour down a front stretch, but we have two unique turns. It's egg-shaped, a wide sweeping turns 1 and 2, and a very tight turns 3 and 4. Guys are run up against the wall, get the old Darlington stripe. Her nicknames will come out with Too Tough to Tame, Lady in Black, all the good things, but they're running as close to the wall as possible without touching it, except for they're going to touch it. Okay, and that allows them to gain speed. Notoriously high-line guys like Kyle Larson run good at Darlington. Jimmy McMurray, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they seem to run really good against the wall. Brad Keselowski, a notorious bottom feeder, will run a bottom lane in 3 and 4, which is really cool because the track is that wide. You can run multiple lanes. The Xfinity Series is there. Well, we can go to MRN.com. Right on the homepage, click Paint Schemes. They have a really cool section for all the throwback schemes, multiple years of from the 2-car all the way up to the 88 car with different ideas. And then the trucks, my goodness, our 4th road course in about 5 weeks for both Xfinity and truck.
Yeah, what about
up in Canada? Great facility. We look for big things from guys that we haven't seen yet, like an Austin Cindric, who's a road course ace, if you will.
He certainly got a lot of laps this weekend.
At 18 years of age, if we can call him an ace. But that'll be a really good track for those guys as well.
It'll be a lot of fun to watch as we head up just north of Toronto, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. That'll be Sunday afternoon. Then the Bojangles Southern 500 will be Sunday evening. That comes your way at 5 o'clock on the Motor Racing Network. Saturday, the Xfinity Series will race at Darlington as well. Check MRN.com for all the times and all the shows coming up. Check your times there and find out more. Paint schemes, all the paint schemes. It's all at MRN.com. He's Joey. I'm Woody. We'll see you right back here next week on Monday after we finish Throwback Weekend at Darlington and the truck race at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. We'll see you right back here next week.
MRN Motorsports Monday is presented by Outback Steakhouse. Tune in every Monday for another exciting episode right here on MRN.com. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. MRN Motorsports Monday is also available on demand in MRN.com's Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, and in iTunes or the Google Play Store. MRN Motorsports Monday is a production of the Motor Racing Network.